Jack sat on his old sofa, staring at the message on his phone again. His heart beat faster every time he read it. Your new roommate will arrive today. Her name is Tira. She is not from Earth. At first, Jack thought it was a prank. A roommate? From another planet? Impossible. But then the letter from the Interplanetary Exchange Program arrived in his mailbox, official and real. He didn't even remember signing up. Maybe his friends had done it for fun. His small apartment was already too small for one person. How would he live with someone from another world? Before he could think more, there was a knock at the door. A soft, gentle knock, almost too soft for a human. Jack froze for a second. Then he took a deep breath and opened the door. A girl stood there, but she didn't look human. She was tall, with silver hair that shimmered even without light. Her skin was a smooth, light blue, almost glowing softly. Her large, deep, violet eyes stared calmly at him. She wore a simple white robe that moved like water when she walked inside. "Hello," she said. Her voice was smooth, almost musical. "I am Tira. I am your new roommate." Jack didn't know what to say. He just stepped aside and let her in. As she entered, she carefully looked around his tiny apartment, the couch with a ripped cover, the old wooden table, the cracked kitchen tiles. She touched a chair gently, as if it was fragile. She then turned and looked directly at him, her expression serious. "I must tell you something important," she said. "There is one bed here?" "Yes." Jack nodded. "Yeah, sorry. It's a small apartment. I didn't expect a guest from space." She ignored his awkward laugh and continued calmly. "One bed, one rule. Don't sleep close. No falling in love." Jack blinked. He wasn't sure he heard correctly. "What? Don't fall in love?" he repeated with a nervous laugh. Why would that be a rule? But Tira's face stayed serious. "This is very important. Promise me." Jack felt a strange chill. He nodded. Slowly. "Okay?" "I promise," he said, still confused but curious. Without another word, Tira walked to the small bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed. Jack followed, wondering how this strange arrangement would work. He expected aliens, too. Have weird customs, but this was something else. That night, after a quiet dinner, Jack lay on one side of the bed. Far from Tira, he couldn't help but glance at her a few times. She sat still, staring at the moon outside the window. Her face was calm, but her eyes looked sad. Jack felt a mix of emotions. He had so many questions. Why this rule? Why was she sad? Was there some danger? Tira finally lay down, but kept her back turned toward him. The distance between them felt strange, not physical, but emotional. Like there was a wall between them, as Jack slowly drifted off to sleep. His mind raced. He couldn't stop thinking about her strange words. Don't sleep close. No falling in love. Why would an alien girl come all the way from another planet just to share one small bed, and then tell him not to get close? Outside the apartment, the moonlight shone softly through the window, casting silver shadows on the floor. But there was something else. Jack didn't notice it yet, but from far above, a distant starship hovered quietly in the sky, its lights blinking slowly, watching over them. The first night had only begun, and already Jack could feel that something strange, something big was about to happen. Jack woke up in the middle of the night. At first, he didn't know why. The apartment was quiet, but the air felt different, colder, heavier. He turned his head slowly. Tira was not in the bed. Her side of the bed was empty, the blanket neatly folded as if she had never been there at all. The clock on the wall ticked softly, but there was an odd silence in the room, almost as if the walls were holding their breath. Jack sat up, rubbing his eyes. A strange glow was coming from the window. When he looked closer, he saw Tira standing near the window, staring out into the night. The moonlight wasn't what lit the room, it was her. Her skin glowed a soft blue, like light coming from inside. Her body, she was whispering something in a language Jack couldn't understand. Her voice was soft, almost like a song, but sad. Tira, he said quietly. She froze, turning slowly to face him. Her violet eyes looked different, darker, deeper. There was fear in them, but also something else, something Jack couldn't explain. You should be sleeping, she said calmly, though her voice trembled slightly. I couldn't. I felt something was strange, Jack admitted. Why are you glowing? Why are you awake? Tira turned back to the window. You must not worry, go back to sleep. But Jack couldn't. He stepped closer, careful not to alarm her. Tira, is something wrong? You seem sad. She didn't answer immediately. Then she whispered, this planet feels cold to me, not your weather. The air, the sky, the stars, everything here feels lonely. Her words touched Jack, though. He didn't fully understand them. She continued, I miss my home, I miss my sky, my stars, but I came here for a reason. Jack felt a strange pull toward her. He wanted to comfort her, to help, but he remembered her warning. Don't sleep. Close. No falling in love. Still, before he could ask more, she turned sharply toward him. Her glowing skin dimmed quickly, almost like she was hiding the light inside her. You must stay away from me at night, she said firmly. Please, Jack, it's dangerous. Dangerous. Why? What happens at night? Jack asked, confused. But curious, Tira stepped closer, her eyes locking onto his. She seemed ready to say something important, but then she stopped herself. Her lips trembled. Then she quietly added, there are things you don't understand. If you sleep close, something will happen. Something we cannot undo. The seriousness of her voice sent a chill down Jack's spine. What did she mean? What could possibly happen if they simply slept too close? Suddenly, outside the window, a strange shape flashed in the sky, a quick streak of blue light, fast and silent. Tira flinched and stepped back from the window. What was that? Jack asked quickly. Nothing, she said too quickly. It's late, please. Go back to bed. I will join you soon. Jack hesitated, but finally nodded and returned to bed. His mind was racing. As he lay down, he realized something strange. He wasn't scared of her. He was curious, drawn to her in a way he didn't expect. But what was she hiding? Why did she look so afraid when that light flashed outside? Jack closed his eyes, but couldn't sleep. The glow of Tara's skin had left a soft blue light on the walls. And even though she stood silently by the window again, he could feel that. This night was not normal. Outside, far above in the sky. Another light flashed briefly, but this time it wasn't just watching. Something, or someone, was coming. Morning came quietly. Jack woke up slowly, sunlight slipping through the curtains, warming the cold air. For a moment, he forgot the strange events of the night until he rolled over and realized Tara was already awake and gone from the bed. The pillow where she slept was cold. He sat up and stretched, feeling tired. He hadn't slept well after seeing her glowing at the window and whispering in her strange language. But today, everything looked normal again. Jack walked into the small kitchen. Tira sat at the table, holding a cup of tea, looking thoughtful. Good morning, he said casually, trying to act normal. Tira nodded, but did not smile. Her violet eyes stayed distant, staring into her tea as if she was reading something inside it. Did you sleep okay? Jack asked carefully. Yes, she replied simply. Then, after a long pause, she added softly, thank you for keeping the distance. Her words reminded Jack of her warning. One bed, one rule. Don't sleep close. but something felt off today. Tira's hands were trembling slightly as she held her cup. Her shoulders seemed tense. She looked worried. After breakfast, Tira stayed silent most of the time. She sat near the window again, watching the sky as if waiting for something. Night fell quickly that day. The wind outside was stronger than before, and Jack closed the window tight. When they prepared for bed again, Jack felt awkward. He stayed as far from her as possible, placing a pillow wall between them. But deep inside, he was curious. Why such a rule? What would really happen if they got close? Hours passed. Jack tossed and turned. The wind outside howled softly. Then, in his sleep, he turned. And by mistake, his arm brushed against hers. It was only a light touch, but it was enough. Suddenly, a sharp wave of warmth shot through him. His eyes opened wide as he felt a strange connection, as if something invisible linked them together. Instantly, Tira gasped and sat up quickly. Her skin glowed bright blue now, much brighter than before. Her hands clutched the blanket tightly, and her breathing was fast. "You touched me while sleeping," she whispered, her voice shaking. "You broke the rule." Jack sat up too, confused but concerned. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I was asleep." Tira's glow did not fade this time. In fact, it grew stronger, spreading across her arms and face. Her violet eyes shimmered with a strange light, and she held her chest as if something was happening inside her. "What's wrong? Are you okay?" Jack asked urgently. "I warned you," she said softly. "This is dangerous for us both." Jack leaned forward, but stopped himself. "Please tell me what's happening. What does this mean?" Tira looked at him, tears welling up in her glowing eyes. "In my species, if we sleep close, our emotions connect. I can't stop it now. I will start to bond." Jack didn't understand completely, but the fear in her voice was real. Then, without warning, a loud humming sound filled the air, low and deep. The window rattled. Jack jumped up and rushed to the window. Outside, a strange blue light hovered in the sky above their building. It wasn't a plane, and it wasn't a star. It was a spaceship, smooth, round, silent, but glowing with the same blue light as Tira's skin. Jack turned back to Tira. She was crying now, holding her head in her hands. "They are here," she whispered. "They know I have bonded. They will come for me and for you." Jack felt a chill run through his body. "What do you mean? Who's coming?" he asked. But part of him already knew the answer. Her voice cracked as she said, "My people. They have strict laws. We can't bond with outsiders. With humans." Jack's heart pounded. Everything felt unreal. Just last night, he thought this was a strange but harmless situation. Now he realized this was only the beginning of something far bigger. Outside, the strange spaceship light grew brighter and closer. Jack stood frozen near the window. The strange blue light from the spaceship made the whole room glow softly. The hum from outside vibrated through the walls. Tira sat on the edge of the bed, her glowing skin brighter than ever. Her violet eyes were full of fear and sadness. Jack turned to her. "Tira, please, tell me everything. What is really happening? Why do they care if we touched? Why this rule?" Tira lowered her head, her silver hair falling across her face. She spoke in a soft but heavy voice. "My people, we are not like humans. We do not feel emotions the same way you do. For us, emotions are energy. They change us physically, forever. When we sleep close to someone, even by accident, we start a bond. Once that bond begins, it cannot be undone." Jack listened carefully, but he didn't fully understand yet. "So what does that mean for you? What happens now?" Tira finally raised her head. Her eyes glowed as bright as the stars outside. Now that we have touched in sleep, I am starting to feel human emotions. Love, fear, attachment. And that is forbidden in my culture. Jack sat down slowly. This was too much. Forbidden? Why? What's so wrong about emotions? Tira looked out the window, her voice sad. On my planet, emotions are dangerous. They change. Our biology. When we bond emotionally, we become vulnerable, weak. Our leaders believe we must stay pure. No love, no close relationships, no falling in love with outsiders. If they know I have bonded with a human, they will take me away, and they might punish you too. Jack's mind raced. This wasn't just a cultural difference. This was a serious, life-changing rule for Tara. Outside, the blue spaceship hovered silently, almost as if it was waiting. Jack stood up and moved toward Tira, even though he felt scared too. Tira, we can explain this. It was an accident. I didn't mean to break your rule. Tira shook her head slowly. It doesn't matter. It's them. A bond is a bond, accident or not. A tear slipped down her cheek, glowing softly like liquid light. Jack felt something deep inside, a need to protect her. Even though they had just met, this bond she spoke about. Maybe he was feeling it too. Why did you come here? Jack asked quietly. Why Earth? Why me? Tira gave a small, sad smile. I volunteered for this program because I was curious. I wanted to know what human emotions felt like. Your people live so freely. You laugh, cry, love without fear. I envied that. She looked down at her glowing hands. But I never expected this. I never expected you. Suddenly, the spaceship's hum grew louder. A thin beam of blue light shot down from its underside and pointed directly at Jack's window. Tira stood quickly. They are signaling me. They want me to come out, now. Jack felt panic rise in his chest. What happens if you go with them? Tira's face turned serious. They will erase my memories, remove this bond, and I will never remember you, and you. You will probably never see me again. The words hit Jack like a punch. This strange alien girl had come into his life so suddenly. And now she might be taken away forever because of a simple accident. But was it really an accident? Was it destiny? The blue beam grew wider, reaching the floor now. It lit up half the room. Tir looked at Jack one last time. Please, stay back. This is my problem. I don't want them to hurt you. Jack shook his head. No, Tira, I can't just let you go. We'll figure something out together. Tira took a step forward, but stopped. The glow around her body pulsed gently. You really care? She whispered. Jack nodded. Yes, I care. The spaceship's hum turned into a deep, vibrating tone, almost like a warning. The beam grew brighter still. Tira looked at the light, then at Jack, and something inside her changed. She whispered, then maybe. It's time to break more than just one rule. The hum outside was deafening now. The bright blue beam flooded the entire room, washing everything in its strange light. Jack's heart pounded. He could feel the vibrations through the floorboards. Tira stood in front of him, glowing brighter than ever. Her silver hair shimmered like metal, her skin a deep blue now. As if her whole body was changing, suddenly there was a voice, but not from outside. It echoed inside Jack's head. Cold, calm, and commanding. Tira of Iari stepped forward. The bond has been detected. You must return immediately. Jack looked at Tira. Did you hear that too? He asked. She nodded slowly. They're speaking to both of us. Through thought. They can sense your presence now too. Jack swallowed hard. His hands were shaking. Can we run? Can we hide? Tira gave a sad smile. You don't understand, Jack. This isn't just a ship. It's a tribunal vessel. They don't need doors to enter. They can take me or you. Anywhere, anytime. But she paused, her voice lowering. There's still a choice. Jack stepped closer. What choice? Tell me. Tira turned to face him fully. Her glowing hands reached out, almost hesitating before touching his face gently. Her fingers were warm, almost electric. If we bond completely, she whispered, they cannot separate us. Jack felt a strange pull in his chest, completely. What does that mean? Tira took a deep breath. It means, if you accept me now with all your heart, we will become one, linked by a life bond that not even the tribunal can break. But it's forever. No turning back. Jack's mind raced. This was unreal. He barely knew her, but something inside him was drawn to her deeply and strangely. Was this part of her species' nature, or something real between them? Before he could speak, the voice returned louder, more forceful. Tira, you have 5 Earth minutes to comply, or we will act. Tira squeezed his hand tightly. We have to decide now, Jack. If you don't want this, I'll go alone, and you'll be safe. But Jack shook his head. Safe? I won't be safe if you're gone. I'll spend every day wondering what could have been. I don't want to lose you, Tira. Tira's glowing tears fell down her cheeks, but this time she smiled softly. A real, warm smile. The room trembled as the tribunal's ship powered up even more. The hum turned into a deep rumble, rattling the walls and shaking the floor beneath. Jack held Tira's hands tightly. What do I have to do? He asked firmly. Tira stepped closer. Just stay close, and mean it. Her body glowed even brighter, blindingly bright now, as if a star had come alive in his small bedroom. The blue light surrounded them both, wrapping them in warmth. Outside, the tribunal's beams suddenly stopped, frozen mid-air. The hum faltered. Then, in a flash of blue energy, the ship above the building pulsed once and vanished. Gone. The light in the room dimmed slowly. Jack blinked as his eyes adjusted. Tira still stood before him, but her glow had softened. She looked peaceful. It worked, she whispered. They're gone. Jack's chest rose and fell quickly. What just happened? Tira smiled gently. You accepted the bond. You chose me. In doing so, you changed my status forever. To my people. I am no longer just Terra of Iari. I am now Terra of Earth. Jack took a deep breath. The apartment was silent again. No humming, no lights. No tribunal ship. But a new question filled the silence. What did this bond really mean for both of them? Tira sat down on the edge of the bed, looking at him with her bright, violet eyes. They will return one day, she said calmly. But next time, they will come for both of us. Jack sat beside her, unsure of what their future held. One thing was clear. The rules had changed. Forever, Jack couldn't take his eyes off the strange blue beam shining into his small bedroom. The humming sound was louder than before. Shaking the glass in the window, Tira stood completely still, her glow brightening by the second. Her long silver hair floated slightly, as if some invisible wind surrounded her. Her violet eyes were fixed on the light outside, and her face was pale with fear. They are here, she said quietly. Jack's mouth felt dry. Who exactly is they? He asked, though deep inside he already felt the answer. Tira turned toward him slowly. My people, the tribunal, guardians of Iari law. They come only for one reason, to punish those who break the ancient rules. Jack felt his stomach twist. Ah! But we didn't really break a law, did we? Tira's voice trembled. To them, sharing sleep, feeling emotions, forming a bond with an outsider, it is betrayal, even if it was an accident. A loud crack split the air, and suddenly Jack's front door rattled violently. A strange shadow passed under the crack at the bottom of the door, not human, not even solid. A blue mist, almost alive, creeping silently inside the apartment. Jack stepped back, panic rising. What is that? Tira grabbed his wrist, her fingers glowing faintly where they touched him. It's a scout, she whispered. It can't harm you. Yet, but soon more will come. The blue mist swirled toward the bed where they had slept. It hovered for a second, as if examining. The space then formed a strange, spinning circle of light. Jack was shaking now. What do they want me to do? Apologize. Explain. It was an accident. Tira's expression softened, but sadness filled her eyes. They don't care about explanations. They only care about control. If I go with them, they will erase my memory of this bond, erase you from my mind. Jack's chest tightened. You won't remember me, right? He whispered. Tira nodded. Right. It will be like you never existed to me. The mist began to spread faster now, curling around the table and chairs, and reaching toward them both like a hand stretching to grab something. Suddenly, Tara squeezed his hand tighter. Her glow became stronger, warming his skin. There's only one way out, she said firmly. Jack looked at her, desperate. Tell me what to do, please. Tira took a deep breath. I was forbidden from bonding, but the bond has already started. If we complete it willingly right now, it will rewrite my place in their laws. They won't be able to take me back. But it means... She hesitated, searching his face. You and I will be linked forever. My life and yours, bound as one. If one of us is hurt, the other will feel it. If one of us dies, so does the other. Jack froze. The words felt heavy. Forever. He stared at the mist crawling closer. He stared at Tira's glowing face, so full of fear, but also hope. The hum outside deepened. The ship above the building flashed again, and a voice echoed in his mind, cold. Sharp, Tira. Time is over. Come now, or we extract you by force. Jack made his choice. Without another word, he pulled Tara into his arms, holding her tightly. Her skin felt warm and electric, but he didn't let go. I don't care about their rules, he said. I want you to stay, complete the bond. Tira's breath caught in her throat. Her violet eyes widened, then softened, and her glow flared. Brilliantly so bright Jack could no longer see anything else. The mist screamed, pulling back quickly like it had been burned. The blue light from the ship outside began to fade, flickering weakly. And then, silence. The ship was gone. The hum stopped. The mist vanished. Tira's glow softened, settling into a gentle light around her skin. She looked at Jack with wonder. You meant it, she whispered. The bond is complete. Jack nodded slowly. His heart was pounding, but he felt calm, too strangely connected to her now. As if he could almost hear her thoughts. She sat beside him on the edge of the bed. They won't come again. Not for me. Not for us, she said softly. Jack smiled faintly, but deep inside he knew. Their lives had changed forever. The apartment was quiet. Again, but the silence felt different now. Heavier. Jack sat on the bed staring at his hands, still feeling the warmth from Tara's touch. He could almost sense her emotions inside him. Confusion, relief, fear, and something soft. Something like hope. Tira stood by the window, her glowing skin now dimmed to a soft blue shimmer. Her silver hair fell over her shoulders, and her Violet eyes watched the stars silently. "They're gone," Jack whispered. "For now, right?" Tira turned slowly and gave a sad nod. "Yes, the tribunal can't take me by force anymore. The bond we completed is unbreakable now." Jack stood, feeling unsure. "So it's over." Tara stepped closer, her voice gentle. "But serious?" "Not quite. The tribunal left, but my people know. News of this will spread. Some will accept what happened, but others will never forgive it." Jack felt a cold wave pass over him. "What do you mean?" Tira hesitated. Then she said something Jack wasn't ready for. "They may send others, not to take me back, but to punish you." Jack froze. "Why me?" Tira touched his chest lightly. "Because you helped me break an ancient law, to some on my world. That makes you a threat, a danger to our way of life. They may try to erase you so no human can ever influence us again." Jack sat down slowly, his heart pounding. "So what do we do now?" Tira sat beside him, her hands glowing faintly as they touched his. "There's another choice, Jack. We can run, but they will find us eventually. Or..." Jack looked into her glowing violet eyes. "Or what?" Tira's voice softened even. "More, or we can go back together, return to my world. Stand before the tribunal ourselves and ask for acceptance, for forgiveness. But it's dangerous. They could reject us both, and we might never return to Earth." Jack felt torn. A strange mix of emotions swirled inside him, fear of the unknown, and a powerful pull toward this glowing girl beside him. "Do you really think they might forgive us?" he asked quietly. Tira gave a small, sad smile. "I don't know. No one has ever done this before." Jack rubbed his face, feeling the weight of this choice. Stay here on Earth and hide forever, or go to her planet, a place he couldn't even imagine, and face judgment together. Then he looked at her again, really looked at her, her glowing skin, her sad but hopeful eyes, her trembling fingers holding his hand gently. He realized something. Then, this wasn't about rules anymore. This wasn't about planets or laws or species. It was about them. Jack squeezed her hand back. "If you go, I'm going with you. I'm not letting you face this alone." Tira's violet eyes shone brighter, but tears welled up too. "Are you sure, Jack? This means leaving everything you know. Earth, your life, here." Jack smiled faintly. "I was alone here anyway, until you came." A soft glow pulsed between their joined hands, a sign of their completed bond. Tira nodded slowly. "Then we prepare tonight. At dawn, we leave together." Suddenly, outside the window, a soft shimmer appeared in the sky, not like the tribunal ship from before. This was different, smaller, delicate, almost like a gate made of light. It hovered silently, waiting. Jack stood beside Tara, watching it. His mind raced with questions. What would her planet look like? Would he survive there? Could he breathe? The air, but beneath all those thoughts was something stronger, a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose he hadn't felt before. Tira whispered beside him, "That's a passage ship, not a warship. They sent it for us. The tribunal is giving us one chance, a chance to come willingly." Jack took a deep breath. "Then let's go." Together, they stepped toward the glowing doorway that shimmered in the sky. Jack didn't know what waited for him on the other side, but he did know this: he would not leave Tira now, not ever. The glowing doorway shimmered softly as Jack and Tira stood together at its edge. The wind from it was warm but strange, carrying a scent Jack couldn't describe, something like stars and metal. Old but new. Tira's hand was tight around Jack's. Her glow pulsed gently through his fingers, and he felt it again, that quiet connection between them. "This is the point of no return," Tira said softly. Once we step through, your life will never be the same. Jack squeezed her hand. My life changed the moment you walked into my apartment, remember? Tira smiled for the first time, a real warm smile, free from fear. Together, they stepped forward. As they crossed the threshold, the air changed instantly. Jack felt a strange rush through his body, like 100 voices whispering and 1,000 lights shining inside his mind. Then, in the blink of an eye, they stood somewhere else. The sky was deep purple, filled with stars that burned red and gold. Floating stone structures surrounded them, glowing with blue symbols. Strange plants swayed in the air, even though there was no wind, and waiting before them. The tribunal. 5 tall beings, glowing even brighter than Tara. Their silver robes, flowing without touching the ground. Their faces were unreadable, smooth, calm, and cold. Their leader stepped forward, his voice echoing not in words, but in Jack's mind. You bring a human here, a bonded human. Jack felt his heart race. T opened his mouth to speak, but Tira raised her hand gently. Stepping in front of him, she bowed her head slightly and spoke clearly. I have broken your ancient rule. I did not just bond. I chose this bond. I chose him. The tribunal's light pulsed slowly. Silence filled the space around them, a silence that felt heavy. Ancient Dot, then the leader said, the law is clear. No bonding with outsiders. The punishment is separation and memory erasure. Jack felt cold fear grip him, but he didn't move. He squeezed Tira's hand tighter. But then Tira raised her head high. And for the first time since Jack had met her, her voice became strong. Like music and thunder together. But the law has never met love before, she said. The tribunal's glow flickered slightly, almost like hesitation. Jack felt a strange warmth in his chest again, but this time stronger, like Tira's. Feelings were becoming his own. Without thinking, he stepped forward too. And I chose her, he said. His voice shook, but stayed steady enough to be heard. Whatever happens, we stand together now. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the tribunal's leader raised his hand. The blue symbols on the floating stones around them began to change, glowing brighter, rearranging. Finally, the leader spoke again. This time gently. Then the rule is broken. Forever. Jack blinked in surprise. Tira gasped softly. The tribunal's glow softened. You are the first to defy this law and survive, because you did not run. You faced us together. You have rewritten our understanding. You will no longer be hunted. You will be honored. Tira's glow brightened around her, and Jack felt her relief like it was his own. The leader stepped closer to them both. From this day, Tira is no longer of Iari alone. She is also of Earth and Jack. You are welcome here as one of us. Jack felt something deep inside settle, a strange peace. He turned to Tira and whispered, Does this mean we're free? Tira smiled, her eyes shining. Yes, free to stay here, or free to return to Earth together. Whatever we choose. Jack laughed softly, shaking his head. I never thought my life would change so much because of one roommate. Tira laughed too, for the first time, without sadness. And I never thought breaking a rule could feel this right. They stood together, hand in hand, in a world neither of them could have imagined days ago. The stars of Iari glowed brightly above them, but Jack knew one thing for sure. No matter which world they chose next, they would face it together. The rule was broken, but something new had begun.